Welcome back, Shine Tribe. So, for the last few months, we've been talking so much about living from our hearts and weaving the science into each episode to support the specific emotion, like whether it's gratitude or authenticity or compassion. And today, I just wanted to take a big step back from that specific emotion and do a research spotlight on energetics and allow this to be a more cerebral, cognitive episode, just so that each time we drop into our hearts, like the foundation is laid. You know, this isn't made up. This isn't just to feel good, but there is real science behind it. And it's not just like woo, we're not bypassing psychology. We're not bypassing medicine or evidence-based research. And we're not replacing cognitive or emotional work. We're supplementing it. We're understanding the mechanisms behind it. So I didn't know any of this actually, and had to do some of my own research behind it. And you guys know I am not a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a neuroscientist, any of it. I'm just somebody interested in living an authentic, full, beautiful life and understanding, how do we do that? How do we do that from our mind? How do we do that from our heart? So energetics is a branch of science that studies how energy is allocated, whether that's being conserved or restored or used in living systems, including us. And we've all heard that saying that energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's just transformed. So every thought that we think, every emotion that we feel, every belief that we hold, every role that we carry is transforming our energy. And now the question is like, well, to what, to where, how? How do we get involved in that? How do we do it with intention? And when we don't understand that, then we do often find ourselves like tired and overwhelmed or disconnected, not because something is wrong with us, but because our systems are working overtime in order to survive instead of to create. So my hope is that by the end of this episode, you'll understand on like a biologic and human level why presence heals, why meaning restores, why practices like meditation, compassion, slowing down are not indulgent. They're intelligent. And before we keep going, I just want to again say that this episode is all grounded in research across multiple fields: bioenergetics, neuroscience, psychoneuroimmunology. I didn't even know that was a thing. That's a thing. And integrative medicine. And there were way too many articles to cite. I went down a rabbit hole, you guys. So I just chose 4 that I thought were interesting and representative of mostly what we're going to talk about. And of course, if you want more citations, just email me, hello@soulshine.global. As anyone in science will tell you, science is always an evolving field. It's always discovering. And so much of what science is describing mechanisms, associations, and patterns. So please don't take this as a prescription of how you have to live your life or what you have to do, or a guarantee that if you do this, you're going to be, in total health, mind, body, spirit. This is just a way to understand why experiences like meaning, like connection, like gratitude, like presence have such profound effects on how we feel and how we function, how to invite that curiosity. So we're just going to dive into the research. But people hear the word energetics and they think of something abstract. And I did too. And if we take it down to biology, specifically bioenergetics, it's actually it's pretty concrete. It's a study of how living systems use energy to adapt, to survive, or to grow. And every cell in our body requires energy to function. So those are different functions: survival, growth, 2 different functions. At the center of those processes are our mitochondria, which people often call this the powerhouse of our cell. And we know that the mitochondria don't just make energy. They're not just little energy factories, but they're actually sensors. And so they respond to stress and to safety. How do they know if there's stress or safety? Guess what? Through emotion. How do we generate our emotion? You guys know. Through our meaning making, our thoughts, our brains. So once the mitochondria get the signal from our brain that generates the emotion, that talks to our cells, and they know if they're stressed or safe. Then they communicate with your nervous system to do what it's got to do, your immune system, your hormones. And in many ways, they just help our body answer a single question. Am I in danger and I need to survive? Or am I safe and I can create? And so I've been trying to emphasize the words back and forth a little bit. Safety, creation, survival, survival, creation, stress, safety. And we talked a lot about duality on Earth School in episode 21 and how we look at things as being oppositional and opposites, hot, cold, up, down, left, right, survival, creation, into polarities that just exist on two ends of one cohesive thing to give it unity, to give it meaning making, to allow it to be for us instead of against us, to be adding to us instead of taking away from us. So if you would like to dive into that more, that was episode 21. So the polarity here is stress or safety, survival or creation. That's it. So even our bodies operate in poles, and these are two opposite poles of the spectrum. Our brain in particular needs so much energy. It has incredible demands. Thinking, regulating emotions, learning, empathizing, imagining, all of that takes energy. So if we're living in constant vigilance, self-criticism, fear, urgency, our system feels stressed and it reallocates energy towards survival. So if you had energy that you could have used towards thinking, regulating emotion, learning, empathizing, imagining, and now you feel like I got to survive, all that energy that would have been available to create, to think, to empathize, shoom, it's getting all spent on vigilance, on survival. And I know this has been said so much out there, but it's worth repeating. The body doesn't know that vigilance is from a tiger coming at you, an attacker coming at you, versus vigilance from self-criticism. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Oh my God, what are they going to think? Judgment, fear. What's going to happen? What if this happens? What if that happens? That's still vigilance. That's still a sense. That's still the same emotion is the same. The body doesn't know that that's an attacker and I need to be vigilant, or that's just my thoughts about what are my friends going to say? What is what's going to happen to this person, this relationship, this project? All of that generates the same core emotion of fear or urgency or self-criticism or doubt or anxiety or vigilance. So all of that, the body just knows it's stressed. And so now all of that beautiful energy that could have gone towards learning, empathizing, imagining, creating is just nope, we got to survive. We got to reallocate all this energy to survive. And so now there's less energy available for creativity, for digestion, for immune regulation, for joy, for connection. But it's not because you failed at life. It's just a biological response. Your body loves you. It wants you to stay alive, to survive, so that eventually you can experience all those things. And I think even just saying that is a lot. I hope that just even by saying that and acknowledging that this is a biological response, nothing has gone wrong with you, that takes off one layer of stress and judgment. Because so often I hear people say I know this stuff already. I already know this. I'm smarter than this. I'm more emotionally intelligent than this. And then it's another layer of judgment. When really it's no, this is just biology. This has nothing to do with how smart you are, with how capable you are, with how much you already know this. Your body's first job is for you to survive. Nothing has gone wrong. And sometimes I like to tell my brain, I love you back. I love you too. That's what I say to it. I love you too. Because we're never going to stop being human, and we're never going to eradicate or erase our fear, our judgment. Our brains are supposed to be vigilant. We don't want to take that away, actually. We want that. We just want to be aware when it's happening and make sure, that it's intentional, and if it's not intentional, how can we process it, give it space, and allow it without it consuming us? So because we'll never erase the human, we want to embrace the human. We want to embrace this biological response. So when I notice that I'm having thoughts come across my mind of fear, of urgency, of anxiety, I take a breath and I say, I love you too. I love you too, brain. And it just kind of stops myself in its tracks because it's an acknowledgement that like, I see you. I know you love me. I know you just want me to survive. And I love you too. I'm here now. I've got this now. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know if that helps anybody, but it has helped me a lot just to acknowledge like, I love you too. You keep doing what you're doing. You know, it's like a toddler when they're throwing a tantrum. They don't know how else to communicate. They just know that like, something's wrong. Help me. I need attention. But like, we give them grace because they're a toddler. They don't know any better. And of course, we redirect them, we teach them, we take over when we need to, we create boundaries for safety. It's the same with our brain. Our brain is like a freaking toddler. Our limbic system, remember you guys, it's 80 to 100 times faster at processing than our prefrontal cortex, which is where like the intentional meaning making happens. So of course, it's going to be that toddler that's running around. And same thing, we give it boundaries, we notice it, we love it, we give it grace because it doesn't know any better. That's what it's built to do, to seek pleasure, to avoid pain, and to like, be efficient, do as little as possible, conserve energy. So I say all of that to say that your body loves you and it wants you to stay alive. So when those thoughts happen, it's not that we're erasing the anxiety, the judgment, the fear, the doubt. All we're doing is changing our relationship to it. Does that make sense? That we're giving it space, we're giving it love, we're managing it, we're processing it. So let's get back to what happens when we're experiencing this chronic stress, whether it's external or internal, because remember, the body doesn't know any difference. It just knows that it's stressed and it's making cortisol. And that's not just affecting our mood, that we're like cranky and snapping. It's actually changing our gene expression. It's increasing inflammation. It's disrupting our sleep, our appetite, our emotional regulation. And I know this has like been said for decades. Like, this is not new science that I'm sharing with you. I'm just reminding us that stress is expensive. Like, physiologically, it's expensive. So we are losing energy and leaking energy through this constant self-monitoring, judgment, perfectionism, maybe suppressed emotion, unresolved grief or anger, living in roles that no longer fit. And you know what's crazy is like most of us think that we can just fix it by doing more. I'm going to try harder. I'm going to be more perfect. I'm going to judge myself harder. Oh my gosh. And I'm going to suppress that emotion more. If only just, I don't feel it anymore. Okay, let me numb. Let me scroll. Let me eat. Let me drink. Let me avoid, whatever it is. And restoration doesn't come from our effort. Restoration doesn't come from avoidance either. Like, we can't avoid life itself. We return our energy to us and our balance to us by reallocating the energy. Because remember, we said it's not created or destroyed, it's just transformed. So if we spent it over here, we can liberate it. We can transform it. Instead of giving it to fear and stress, we can liberate it from there. And now it's available again for us to spend when we feel safe. And you guys, I'm talking about real safety, because remember, in the thought model and in all of this work, we have to really feel the emotions. So this isn't like forced positivity, toxic positivity, like emotional bypassing, spiritual bypassing. We have to actually feel safe to sit with these things. And that's when we can liberate that energy. We don't need to be vigilant anymore, to fight, to flight, to freeze, to fawn. So when that happens, we can like have that energy available back to us, not because we did our checklist, not because we earned it, not because, we optimized everything, but just because we stopped spending the energy. Remember, stress is expensive. So we stopped spending that energy on defending ourselves from our own inner world. So let's return a little bit back to like proven science, measurable science. And this is where practices like meditation, mindfulness, yoga, tai chi, loving kindness have been studied and proven to be real biological interventions. Yes, they're a nice thing to do and it feels good in our body and it feels good for a reason. And it's been studied and measured. Again, there's like so many articles. So I just chose a couple representative ones. They'll be in the show notes below, the citations. But there is so much research to showing that these practices, they counteract everything we just talked about. So they reduce inflammatory markers, they improve mitochondrial efficiency, regulate stress hormones, support our telomeres in maintaining their length. So the telomeres are what protect the ends of our chromosome from degrading, which is important in like cellular aging and cancer. They enhance our emotional regulation and our psychological well-being. But what's important is not the practice itself or like which practice you choose. Like there is no one that is better than another. Like honestly, you could make up whatever practice you want. It's just the practice of being present, of saying like, I'm here. I'm not tied up in the past where I'm like ruminating on these judgments about what did I say and what did they think and why did that turn out that way and why didn't I just do this and why didn't they do that, right? And we're spending energy somewhere that doesn't even exist. It's in our minds. It's gone. It's over. Presence liberates us from all the energy back there. Presence is right here. It's also liberating energy from the future of like, oh my God, I'm so scared that what if this happens or that happens? What if like I'm stressed that this thing isn't going to go the way I want it to go? That's also imaginary. And we're spending all this energy, fixed energy, on something that, doesn't exist. So when we liberate the past, when we liberate the future and all of those fears and anxieties and stress, we return to the generosity of the present moment. And we've liberated energy. And now it's available. We accept that I don't need to fight myself. I can drop the vigilance. I can drop the survival. When we practice compassion, it says, I'm safe, returns us to that safety creation state. I am safe in my own care. I don't have to spend energy on surviving. So like practice these things however you want. Loving kindness, I didn't know what that was. I had to like look it up. It's kind of like what it says it is. It has been shown to increase daily positive emotions, and that builds our resources like social connection, resilience over time, purpose. And again, these positive emotions, like they aren't just silly or woo. They are literally generative, meaning generating life force, generating health, expanding our perception, building our capacity, helping us recover from stress faster. This is not about bypassing pain. This is about giving the nervous system safety to metabolize it, to process it, to release it, to move it through. This is how I see energetics supporting this personal development work, because our constant work of becoming is a constant journey of thought work, of meaning making, of emotional work. Our state of becoming is a lot of identity work. Who were we? Who are we? Who are we going to be? Think about when you're in survival mode. You get narrow. You want to fight. You become rigid. And your identity is like, this is it. I got to react. I got to survive. There's only one version of ourselves, the one that lives or dies. When we flee, there's only one version of ourselves, the one that stays or goes. Like there's not infinite creation. It's one decision. That's it. We don't take our time. It's not like we're curious, playful. Like, nope, we got to survive. Our identity is efficient, survive. There's only one goal. No other possibilities are entertained, survive. It's strategic and it's necessary. And I'm not saying there's not a purpose and a place for it. Of course there is. And it's limited. It's myopic. Like where are the places in your life that stress is self-imposed, that stress is because of judgments that you have about yourself or others or the way things should be, or that stress is from some of this emotional work that's like all clogged up. You're like suppressing it or not allowing for it. And you have so much spent energy there, Where is it in your life that you feel like you're not yourself anymore? It's not because you're broken. Maybe it's because your energy is being spent on just surviving. We don't become more of ourselves by forcing change. We become more of ourselves when energy is no longer being spent on self-protection. And that's the bridge between energetics and becoming. When we return to the generosity of the present moment, We've liberated stress, anxiety, worry, fear, doubt, judgment from this imaginary past, this imaginary future. Our energy returns to us. Our identity expands. We don't have those limits. We become creative, compassionate, flexible, willing to imagine new possibilities. These emotions, I don't want you to think of them as like problems to be fixed or to be eradicated. They're just messengers. And I know I say that all the time, but it's true. Like being scared, anxious, judgmental, embarrassed, all these things, like they're not problems unless we make meaning that they're problems. And then we go into the survival state of protection, vigilance. What if there's room for them? What if they're okay? What if they're not problems to be fixed or eradicated and we're never going to make them go away? What if our job is not to erase that part of us, but to embrace that part of us as information, as messengers, carrying information and mirroring back to us information about what matters to us, what we value, what we're protecting, not something to judge, or to suppress because it doesn't feel good, or to eliminate, like, oh no, I can't be scared because then I'm in survival and I'm not in creation. Like, no, what if I can just be curious with it and tell my brain, like, I love you too. Talk to me. Why are you scared? What is it, fear, that you're trying to tell me? What is the message here? Can you feel the difference in that? Like, that's not survival. I have to fight it. I'm running from the fear or I'm fighting the fear. That's like open, curious. I'm present with the fear. I'm allowing the fear. I'm processing the fear. Can you feel like that's so subtle, but you can feel it. And that liberates that energetic tax. That is allowing your emotions to move. That's why people call emotions energy in motion, right? And so emotions don't just come out of the blue. Like I'm walking down the street and boom, I feel anxiety, or boom, I feel in love. That comes from our meaning making. When something feels meaningful, the body responds to it. I want you to also think about meaning making as a really powerful tool to carry the emotion with. So for example, think about people who endure a hardship, but it's in service of something or someone they love. The pain is metabolized differently. The effort feels different. Time feels different. So the meaning reorganizes the emotion, the energy, because it changes that emotional charge behind it. So like, imagine two different scenarios. Imagine one where you're sitting at a hospital bed of someone that you love. You're exhausted. You haven't slept well in days. Your body's under stress. And yet, because you love them, because you're there for like purpose, for advocacy, like you have this emotional charge under that effort. You stay awake. You remain engaged. You're asking questions. You're advocating. You endure. Your effort feels purposeful. The pain is still there. The fatigue is still there, but now it's in the service of love. And your energy is directed rather than depleted. You metabolize it differently. Now compare that to you've been up for days fighting with someone, full of like anger, judgment. Think about how that same level of exhaustion, it doesn't feel good. It actually really super depletes you. It's unbearable. So that's the power of our meaning making. How do we use that to carry the energy through? Have you ever worked on something that you get so absorbed in? Like I'm thinking about like the athletes when they're in the zone, or the musician when they're in the zone, and like time doesn't even exist. Like something where you're so passionate, you're so absorbed, and you're writing, you're creating, you're learning, and you forget to freaking eat. You forget to sleep. Like things go by and your effort doesn't feel like force. It feels like pleasure, like it's aligned. So that meaning directs the energy towards creation instead of defense. And I just want to say, like, this doesn't mean you have to be totally absorbed in everything that you do and everything has to be supercharged with meaning. This doesn't mean that you have to meditate for hours or like change your life overnight. I want to also like give us practical ways to look at it, that energetics shows up in every moment, even the small, ordinary moments. So this might look like a couple different things. This might look like maybe I pause before I react. What does that do? That puts me in the present moment. Maybe this looks like feeling gratitude without rushing past it. Like, oh my gosh, I just did that thing. Wow. Hey, thank you, past self, for like planning this for me. Thank you for being dedicated. Thank you for showing up. Oh my gosh, this feels so good to do what I said I would do instead of just like, how do we rush past it? Like, yeah, okay, it's done. It's no big deal. What's next? What's the next thing on my list? You know what I mean? Like, how can we be present again with that gratitude? Maybe another practical example is like allowing the joy without bracing. Have you ever done that? Have you ever been like, oh, I'm happy, but I can't really feel it because like, oh, when's another shoe gonna drop? Oh, I don't deserve it. Oh, this other person is so wonderful and they're going through a hardship. It's not fair that I get to enjoy this health or this situation, this relationship, this love, this money, whatever. It's like, there's like guilt there. There's like resistance there because you're making it mean what, you know? Maybe another practical example is like, I'm choosing rest without any justification to honor my body, to not have to earn it, deserve it. Like I just get to rest because I'm present with the rest, with myself, with my needs, with loving myself in this way. Or maybe the last example is like offering yourself the same compassion that you offer to others. These are just small examples. Think of some more. These are, ordinary, quote unquote, everyday, quote unquote examples. This doesn't have to be like hours of meditation or, making everything like supercharged with all of your life's purpose and getting absorbed in everything. Like this gets to become a practice of living, a way of life, a philosophy of life. And again, I just want to weave back in the science to support that every time you choose presence, you are getting energy back to you. Every time you soften, how the energy recirculates. Every time you allow meaning, your system reorganizes around creation instead of survival. So everything that we explored today, the energetics, the emotion, the meaning, the identity, is the observation, the description, the mechanism, the how. And I just wanted to allow us some time to just like stay in the brain, because I know we've been going into a lot of heart-led episodes, and I do think that's helpful to understand the how behind things, to really spend some time with like, that is fascinating. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that like this is actually medicine. This is medicinal. To be present, to soften. This is like actually generating life force. Like, how can I notice it? Where do I notice it? This isn't just made up. This is real. Like, let me support myself in doing this and choosing this over and over. You know what I mean? And so like the next episode, now that we have the cognitive work laid down for this, it's going to be a really feeling episode. We're just going to drop from our brains into our hearts, into our bodies, and move from the knowing of energy, emotion, in our minds into feeling it into our body. Because that's where the transformation happens. That's where the genetics get turned off or on. That's where the body gets the signal, is through the feeling of the emotion. So this one was just like talking a lot at you. Like, this is important to feel. It's okay to feel. And in the next one, we're going to go there. We're going to go and like step into gratitude and just allow that to totally expand us. So for our ending tradition, I just want to pitch you some questions for self-exploration. Where are you leaking energy? Where do you get tied up in the past or the future and we disconnect from the present? How can you return back to the present generous moment and just free up that generosity of energy that's in the present moment? Maybe it's in a grounding practice, like a deep breath. Maybe it's in a phrase. So I want to end with teaching you this simple loving kindness practice. Like I said in the beginning, when I was researching all this, I didn't know, like I've never done Tai Chi. I don't think that I quote unquote meditate the right way. So when I came across loving kindness, I was like, that sounds simple. And it's beautiful. And so I want to end it with this, with practicing it together. Okay. I know people like listen to this while they're walking, driving, whatever. So if you are able to be comfortable while you're doing that activity, it's okay. You can do this while you're moving. You can do this while you're resting. It doesn't matter. What matters is take a few deep breaths and just relax. Even if it's relaxing into doing the dishes or relaxing into doing your laundry, Can you relax a little bit more into it? Take a few more deep breaths. Relax into it a little bit more. I want you to imagine yourself, you, in your mind's eye, however you imagine yourself. And I want you to talk to you as if you are an observer of yourself. And I want you to say this out loud if you can, and if you can't, say it inside. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be safe. May I be peaceful and at ease. I want you to connect with those intentions as you say them. You can pause here, you can rewind, you can repeat them as often as you want, as often as feels good to you. But the goal is feel that warmth, feel that love. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be safe. May I be peaceful and at ease. When you feel warmth and love, now I want you to bring a friend to your mind and say to them, may you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be at peace and ease. And connect with those intentions and repeat them as often as you need to feel warmth and love. Maybe the season even stops you in what you're doing because you're so present with it. You take a moment to stop putting away the dishes or the laundry or whatever it is. Oof, you're just feeling it. Beautiful. Now bring in other friends. Maybe bring in strangers. Maybe bring in animals. Bring in the planet. All of humanity. Maybe even bring in the people with whom you have difficulty. And as you visualize those people, send them your love, send them your warmth. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. And you can say these as many times as you want. You can pull in whoever you want, changing the groups however you want. And you don't have to say these exact same sentences. You can say these phrases. You can make up any phrases that allow you to feel loving kindness. And just observe what emotions come up. And observe them with acceptance, knowing that the emotions are just messengers. Whether you feel love, whether you feel sparks of discomfort or anger, it's okay. Nothing has gone wrong. Sit with it. What are you trying to tell me? What is it? What's the message? Okay, to my beautiful Shine tribe, may you all be happy. May you all be well. May you all be safe. May you all be peaceful and at ease. I'm wishing you all play, possibility, and peace. I'm wishing you to feel supported in this space, and I am so honored to be a part of your soul tribe. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you next week. Bye.